Well, hey, good afternoon. This is Gabe Hernandez, publisher and EIC of ComicalOpinions.com. We're going to try something a little bit different today. Yesterday, I did a surprise AMA on YouTube, and I got people a little bit interested, which is a great thing. So we thought we'd try something a little bit more interesting with taking a look at the topics of the day, talk about them a little bit, see where they dovetail into what's going on within the ecosystem of comics, and see if we can get folks talking about interesting topics that maybe they weren't aware of. So we're going to start off with three topics today. And if you could like, share, comment, subscribe down below, and we'll see how it goes. So the first article we're going to take a look at today is a screen read article talking about Justice League's shocking new leader officially announced by DC. Now, this is a article based solely on Nightwing number 100, which is a milestone issue that was just released by DC Comics yesterday. So if you haven't read the issue of Nightwing number 100, basically is Nightwing's displeasure, if you want to call it that, with Bloodhaven's prison system. And so what happens is interweaved throughout the course of the issue where Heartless stages a prison break, Nightwing is approached by the surviving, well, surviving is not the right word, by the members of the Justice League. And if you've kept up with DC over the past year, the outcome of the DC Dark Crisis event, the Justice League decided to disband, at least for the time being. And in the course of this issue, what's happened is members of the Trinity, including Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, have asked Nightwing to effectively take over the role as the new leader. If you've read the review, and you can go to the review over at Weird.com, I'm a contributor, you'll see that it's a little bit of an odd way that it's presented, because Nightwing isn't really asked to be to reform the Justice League or to take over the Justice League as it stands today. He's just sort of asked to be the protector of Earth, whatever that means. It's not really clearly spelled out. Tom Taylor doesn't really put in the effort into clarifying what that role means. And by the end of the issue, and I'm going to get into a little spoiler here, the big status quo change is the Teen Titans Tower is going to be rebuilt on top of the rubble of the old location of Bloodhaven Prison. So you're just getting a new Teen Titans Tower, which is the big status quo change. And then the prior leaders of the Justice League asked Nightwing to take over, but he effectively just sort of takes over the Teen Titans and builds a new Teen Titans headquarters. So he's not reconstituting the Justice League. He just sort of has been asked to be the boss, but it's a boss without any clear role definition or description. So not sure exactly how that's going to work out, but let's see what the article has to say. Maybe they can shed some light on it that Tom Taylor didn't in the interview. Nightwing doesn't accept the Justice League's leadership position or offer right away, but after speaking with Batman and telling him he will need his guidance more than ever, he takes on the role. However, it's revealed instead of protecting the world with the usual Justice League heroes, he believes the world is ready for something else, as the Titans are chosen as the team he leads. So, in a sense, Nightwing is going backwards, being part of the Teen Titans as their de facto leader, which is the earliest incarnation, and he's not reconstituting the Justice League. So I'm not sure what he's in charge of, to be honest with you. And Superman and Batman, Wonder Woman are still running around doing their thing. They're not part of the Titans now. So let's see how it goes. Dick Grayson has come a long way since he debuted as Robin more than 80 years ago in the pages of DC Comics. As Nightwing, he's established himself as a hero in his own right. That's true, sure. And that's it for the article, pretty much. So if you're looking to find out what was the big deal about Nightwing 100, was it worth the cover price? Honestly, probably not. If you go to Weird Science DC Comics, you can read my interview, my review there to find out all the ins and outs of that particular issue. But if you're looking for what's the big status quo change, what's the big milestone happening that that made it worth it for 100 number issue with the cover price, all they really do is say, you're in charge of the Titans again, and there is no Justice League. Okay, so that's where we are. Moving on, let's take a look at the next article. We have an announcement by way of the ICV, where Marvel is announcing that they are bringing back another Spider-Man 2099 Dark Genesis series, which is a follow-on to the Exodus series from last year, also written by Steve Orlando. So they're bringing Steve Orlando back. He's going to do more in the Spider-Man 2099 realm, and he's writing a new series. Let's see what ICV2 has to say. Steve Orlando is returning to the world of 2099 with a new series Dark Genesis, which will build on previous storyline and bring in new characters, including Blade 2099, and it's going to be drawn by Spider Punk artist Justin Mason, and the series will launch in May, the beginning of May. So let's talk about that one just briefly. If you read go to Weird Science Marvel Comics, you'll have all the reviews up there for that particular issue or that series that was released last year. Steve Orlando did come back to Spider-Man 2099 and sort of reconstituted that character. It had a strong start, but it kind of fell apart pretty much after the second or third issue, because what happened is between the first issue and the last issue, there was almost no Spider-Man 29. Miles O'Hara wasn't in the series for the majority of the series. Each issue were sort of capsule issues where Steve Orlando introduced new 2099 versions of other characters. 2099 X-Men, even though there already is one, but there was a little bit of a change to the lineup. 2099 Hawkeye, 2099 Black Widow, 2099. There was like about 5 or 6 different characters that were reintroduced as 2099 versions of their current day selves. So if you were looking for a Spider-Man 2099 series, you sort of didn't get it. You were just sort of got a character introduction anthology, which kind of didn't make sense if that's if you were looking for Spider-Man 2099. So it had a strong start, but kind of fell apart pretty quickly. And by the end, the plot didn't make sense. The action was okay. The resolution sort of didn't make sense, and it just wasn't a great miniseries. So what they're doing is they're giving Steve Orlando another crack at it. This time with Carnage, Blade 2099, and a few others. Well, I don't. I mean, if he didn't do a good job the first time, I'm not sure how he's going to do a good job the second time, but we'll see how it goes. Now, as far as the artist goes, Justin Mason, who did Spider Punk 20 Spider Punk, written by Cody Ziegler, that miniseries was pretty awful. To be honest with you, I'm not, you come here for honest opinions, you're going to get them. So yeah, the Spider Punk series was pretty awful. It was Cody Ziegler's first time as a solo writer on a series. It was just terrible. I mean, there was nothing punk about it. The character was tone deaf. There was all kinds of shenanigans that didn't make any sense, and the art was very sort of indie underground, which I'm not sure how that would suit a Spider-Man 2099 cyberpunk future aesthetic. We'll see how it goes. They don't really give you much here except a cover, so let's take a look at that real quick. Can we click on that? Yeah, we can. I mean, that looks okay. We'll see what the internal pages look like, but for as far as what's going on with Spider-Man 2099, they're keeping it on the shelves, which is a good thing. They're keeping it with the same writer, which is probably not a good thing, and they're keeping it with the Spider-Punk artist, which is may or may not be a good thing, depending on your taste for Justin Mason's art. So we'll see how that goes. Let's see. Moving on to the third item, we're going to do a little bit of a reaction real quick with got a release. Oh, let me pause that a little bit. Bring that back. The beauties of video development. So, as you know, the Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is coming out soon. That is the next big Marvel movie that is, I think, technically transitioning over from Phase 4 to Phase 5. So, and this is the one that's going to introduce the big bad for the next phase, which is Kang the Conqueror. Uh, uh, the Ant-Man and the Wasp characters were present through, I would say, most of Phase 1, 2, and 3, or maybe 2 and 3, and they were pivotal in the resolution for Avengers Endgame, and we'll see how this goes. So we're just going to take a look at this real quick, get initial thoughts, and see how you like it. And hopefully this won't get me blacklisted. I'm still trying to figure this out for as far as streaming content goes. Okay, so I'm just going to pause it real quick and just comment if you're not sure or up to speed what's going on. So after the situation with Endgame, which is basically everybody returning from the blip, which is a 5-year gap in everybody's time frame, Scott Lang came back to find his daughter had aged up because she didn't disappear during the blip. So now he's dealing with his daughter, not Cassie Lang. Yeah, Cassie Lang. So she's older. He missed a good chunk of her period of time, and as I understand from the prior, from some of the solicit descriptions and the prior trailers, Scott is looking at maybe reclaiming some of the time that he lost watching his daughter grow up. So we'll see how Kang plays on that desire or motivation from Scott Lang, and maybe create some trouble in the process. Mhm. Just going to pause it real quick and talk about this a little bit. I'm pleased with how they've done the quantum realm. In a lot of ways, if you look at it very closely, it looks like something you would see under a electron microscope, or something very very small, like a mote of dust, or a speck of dirt, or something to that degree. So I like how they've done the aesthetic, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they can use that more throughout the course of the Ant-Man adventures, especially if Cassie Lang winds up taking over. Mhm. Okay, so there it is. Hopefully that won't get me copyright struck, or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I kind of like it. I like that they're going hard into the sci-fi and the fantastical elements of it, rather than trying to stay grounded. MCU's never been one to do that much at all, but we'll see how it goes. Uh, I like Kang as a villain, even though if you put him up against Thanos, is he a better villain or a bigger villain? He's different. He's not as imposing or as intimidating, but his what he's capable of, I think, makes him just as dangerous, if not more so. So we'll see how it goes. As far as complaints of, is this another one of the changing of the guard, where the younger generation takes over for the older generation? Probably. I mean, it seems like Cassie's going to be a significant portion of this film, setting her up to likely take over the role of at least the Wasp or the Ant-Man, or both, depending on how you look at it. So we'll see how it plays out. So I like it. I like the direction where it's going. We'll know more as more comes out, and we'll see how the film does coming up here in a few months. So that's it for today. Wanted to cover at least three topics, give you something to chew on. Hopefully, there's some interesting things to think about. If you like what you've heard, or you have some ideas or suggestions about how we can make the channel better, like, comment, share, subscribe down below. And thank you very much. Have a great day. This is Gabe Hernandez for Comical Opinions.